Hi everyone, my name's Imogen and I'm from Course Report. We are a directory of coding bootcamps. We have blog posts, reviews, profile pages for each school. You can come and read about all the different coding bootcamps, compare the different ones, and work out which bootcamp is right for you. And today we are talking to Michael from Coder Camps, and he is going to tell us all about his experience at Coder Camps and also show us his final project. He's going to share his screen and show us what it looks like and how he built it. So Michael, welcome, and thank you so much for making time to chat with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yay. So maybe we can start and you can tell me about your sort of pre-bootcamp story, your educational or career background before you decided to go to Coder Camps.
Okay, so before Coder Camps, I went to Arizona State University, and I have a degree in digital culture. And doing that, I did some programming, but it was more so like for media. So I used Max MSP and like processing and stuff like that, more visuals. And then I actually took a course for programming using Objective-C and Swift for Apple products. And then that's when I really like found a passion for it and picked it up and started to pursue it. And then after that, I was just teaching myself while I was waiting tables. And then I found Coder Camps, and I figured it'd expedite the process so that I can actually pursue a career in it. And that's how I ended up here.
That's awesome, exciting. And so which Coder Camps campus did you go to?
Scottsdale.
Okay, awesome, that's cool. And I was wondering if you researched any other coding boot camps. Like, did you consider a few different ones, or was Coder Camps kind of the main one you were interested in?
Coder Camps was the main one just because it is in Arizona, so I could go in person and get, I feel like, more attention if I needed it and more help if I needed it.
That makes sense. And were there any other factors that made you choose Coder Camps, like the languages they were teaching there, or the types of learning style or anything like that?
I mean, the language was definitely a bonus because I like JavaScript, and the market for JavaScript is really good right now. But other than that, no, it was just a convenience factor for me.
Cool. And did you at all consider going back to college to study computer science, or was that not really something you were thinking about?
I did, actually. I was about like a day away from going back to ASU. The deciding factor really was the fact that I could do Coder Camps in 12 weeks, or I could do another degree in 2 years.
All right, that makes sense. Awesome, cool. And so once you decided that you were gonna go to Coder Camps, what was the application and interview process like for you?
My admissions rep, Jason, he would just call me, and we did most of it over the phone. And they have a coding from scratch that you have to pass before the course starts, which is kind of like an introduction to programming. And when I was doing that, he would call me at least once a week and check up on me, make sure I was okay, seeing if I needed any help. And then once that was over, then we just signed me up for the next available class, and then I got started.
Awesome, cool. And once you started, what was your cohort like? I mean, how many people were there, and was it quite diverse in terms of gender and race and backgrounds?
Yeah, we had 9 people, and it was 3 girls and 6 guys, and 2 of them were remote. We had 1 guy who was calling in from Oregon, and then a girl who was calling in from Houston.
Awesome, that's cool. And what kind of backgrounds did they have?
Majority of the class had no like programming experience. There was 1 lady who had a master's from ASU in, it was like computer hardware or something like that, but she had no experience actually programming. And then there was a girl who was actually a front-end developer for a while. And then other than me, nobody really had any experience.
Oh, wow, that's cool. That's interesting. And what was the actual learning experience like there? Like, maybe you can give me an example of like a typical day and the sort of teaching style.
So a typical day would start out with, we would have assignment before, the night before, and we would each go over our assignment, show what we had, kind of talk about where we had troubles. And then if we couldn't complete it because of the trouble, the instructor would kind of help us through that. As a group, we would go over it. And then from there, we jumped into the instruction, and they talked us through the lesson while we followed along so that we can code and keep pace. So that way it kind of solidified it. And then we would go to lunch. And then after lunch, we did a little more lesson, and then they gave us an assignment that we worked on. And then we basically worked on that until class was over. And then most of us would stay afterwards and work on it until we finished it, and then just start the next day.
Awesome, cool. Sounds like a good schedule. Very cool. And yeah, I'm interested in the project that you're going to show me. Perhaps before you show it to me, you could just tell me kind of like, you know, the sort of what kind of assignment you were given for this project, how long you had to build it, that sort of thing.
Well, we were given, there was no real guidelines. It was just essentially make something, and then with the stuff that you've learned. So we originally had a project that we had 6 weeks to do, but halfway through we had a guy leave. So, and it was his idea that we were kind of doing, so we basically started over. So in 3 weeks we made the app that we have now, which we were always told to contribute to open source projects. That's a good way, like, for employers to see that you're actually pursuing the knowledge and using it. So we wanted to do that, but we didn't know how. So our app kind of helps you with that issue.
Awesome, cool. That sounds so cool. So can you show me? Cool.
So this is our project. This is like the landing page where you can it gives you like some general information about the website and what it does. And then there's an about page that kind of talks about the three of us that worked on it. And so once you log in, you can log in with GitHub or LinkedIn, but to access all the features at this point, you need to log in with GitHub. And so once you log in, it'll log you in. And then from here, these are your GitHub repositories. So it pulls those so that you can add them to the OSource project. And then based on that, you fill out the form of like what it is, and then what languages and frameworks it uses. And then it'll add it to our system. And that way people can search for your project based on like what they're good at and their skill level. And then it'll then have like information that you can, and the link to the GitHub repository so that you can go on there and contribute to it. And yeah, that's basically it.
Oh, it's awesome. It looks really cool. And it sounds like it's a really good idea. Who is it kind of aimed at? Is it for people who are just kind of new to coding and stuff like that?
I mean, it's aimed at all developers. So it essentially, if you're a new developer and you want to find a project to contribute to, you can use it for that. Or if you're an established developer and you have an open source project that you need help with, you can also use the site to find help.
That's really cool. And then, so how big was your team who worked on this?
There was 3 of us.
Cool. And what kind of technologies did you use to build it?
We used the mean stack. So we used MongoDB for the database, Express and Node on the back end for the queries, and then Angular for the front end.
Awesome. And how did you kind of divide up tasks amongst you and your team members?
We basically laid everything out that we had to do, and then we kind of gave them an assigned like difficulty level. And then based on that, we just each picked like the easier ones so that we can knock them out real quick and focus more on the difficult tasks. And then based on that, we just grabbed whichever one we think we would be good at and then worked on it until we finished it, and then we grabbed a new one.
Awesome. And were there any like particular technologies that you actually had to kind of learn how to use, especially for this project?
For the login service, we used a third-party login that was built. So I had to tinker with that quite a bit just because it came pre-built so that you can use like GitHub, LinkedIn, Facebook, basically any social media that you needed. But it had some issues, so we kind of had to work through those and learn those as we went along.
Awesome. That's so cool that you managed to learn all that. And what would you say was actually the biggest challenge you had while building this project?
I would say just the time span, because we did three weeks in, we had to start over. So we had to, like, not only from concept and the idea, but we had to do it all the way through to what you see now.
Yeah, that's really cool. And so what are your plans for the future of this project now? Are you going to continue working on it and kind of launch it live, that sort of thing?
We are. So right now it's almost ready. We just have a few tweaks, but we're kind of focusing our information or our energy on like starting careers. And then once we get established in that part, we've all agreed to come back to it and work on it.
Nice. That's really cool. And show me like the homepage again.
Yeah.
Cool.
So this is the homepage after you log in.
Yeah, yeah. Nice. That's really cool. Awesome. Cool. Well, you can stop sharing the screen now if you've showed me all the different parts of it. Yeah, that was great. Thank you so much. It looks like such a cool project. So yeah, have you actually graduated from Coder Camps now?
Yes.
Oh, cool. Congratulations. And so what have you been doing since you graduated?
I've actually been picking up new technology. So I've been working on React a little bit, and then I've just been looking for a job. And actually I have an interview on the 1st with Red Ventures, which is in North Carolina.
Oh, congratulations. Good luck. I hope that goes really well. What kind of job in particular are you hoping to get?
That one is a full stack position, which that's like the dream. I hope I get that one. But mostly it's just been random. It's been a lot of either front end specific or back end or just full stack.
Awesome.
But they're all JavaScript.
Nice. And what kind of sort of career advice or job help did Coder Camps give you?
Oh, they've given us a lot. Everything from like resumes and your LinkedIn, your social media like presence, but they've also given us mock interviews. So we've done like whiteboarding, technical interview practice. They have people here who are kind of out there looking for positions that they think you'd be a fit, and kind of setting you up for interviews and phone calls and things like that. They've helped me along basically every step along the way.
Oh, that's great. That's really cool. And are you able to, like, now that you've graduated, are you still kind of keeping in touch with some of the staff and other alumni from Coder Camps?
Yeah, me and the guys in my group, we talk all the time, and then they check on me every now and then, see if I'm doing okay.
Oh, that's nice. That's really great to have that kind of community support.
Yeah, it's almost like a big family here at Coder Camps.
Yeah, that's so nice. And what would you say has been the biggest challenge overall in kind of going through Coder Camps and getting, proficient in web development?
I would say the dedication, because it is a lot within 12 weeks, because 6 of that weeks is the actual learning process. So it's a lot of information in a short amount of time. So you have to really be sure that this is what you want to do. Because if you get left behind or if you get stuck, there's people that'll help you, but it's only going to hurt yourself in the end if you don't put the time in.
That makes sense. Yeah, that leads well into my next question. I was going to ask you what sort of advice you have for people who are thinking about going through a coding boot camp.
I mean, that would be my main piece of advice, is just make sure that this is something that you want to do. Because I don't think it is for everybody, but there is, if it's not for you, but you're not sure, there are people who can help you through it. But that dedication definitely makes it easier, because there's going to be times where you run into problems that you're not going to be able to fix immediately. And if this isn't for you, you're not going to want to put that time in to fix it.
That's really good advice. Cool. Awesome. Well, that's all of my questions, unless there's anything else you'd like to add about your experience or your final project or anything.
It'll be ready soon, hopefully.
Awesome. Yay, cool. All right, thank you so much, Michael. This has been really interesting. And good luck for the future. I hope you find a really great job and that you can launch your final project and it actually, becomes a useful website for people.
Thank you.